Samsung released two 8-inch Galaxy Tab A tablets this year. They've got very similar names, so it's a bit confusing. The cheaper one is called the Galaxy Tab A 8.0 SM-T290. The pricier is called SM-P200 and features an S Pen. You can distinguish between them by the stylus. The pricier has one and the cheaper does not. Well, let's check them out next to each other. I'm NJ from mynexttablet.com and this is my Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8-inch comparison. First, a couple of words about pricing. The normal Galaxy Tab A 8.0 costs around $150 and you've got to pay around $300 for the Galaxy Tab A with S Pen. Prices vary by market, of course. There are 4G LTE versions of both too. While the cheaper one is rolling out pretty much worldwide, the S Pen version is available in very few countries only. I don't know why, you've got to ask Samsung. Let's check out their design and build quality first. Even though both are 8-inch tablets, the S Pen version is a bit narrower and not as tall. However, the cheaper one without the S Pen is a bit thinner with 8mm compared to 8.9mm. It weighs a bit more with 345 grams compared to 325 grams. I guess that's because with this one we get a metal back. The frame is made of plastic, but there's a metal plate on the back side. With the SM-P200 S Pen version, on the other hand, we get a full plastic body. However, that one feels a bit better made because it's one single piece of plastic. That feels a bit better than the body that consists of two parts that are glued together. On their sides, both have power buttons, volume rockers and a microSD card slot. Both even feature a headphone jack, which is great. While we get a USB-C port with the SM-P200, the cheaper version is charged using the older micro USB standard. That's a bit disappointing. If you care about stereo separation, these tablets are not meant for you. While the SM-T290 has two speakers, they are located on the same side, and the pricier P200 has one single speaker only, which again sits at the bottom. Even though the pricier tablet has just one speaker, it's a pretty good one. In fact, both tablets are similar loud, and the sound quality is very similar too. It's very hard to hear a real difference. Now, both are not perfect and most 10-inch tablets offer better speakers, but they are alright. Both feature an 8-megapixel main camera on the back, however they are not the same. The photos from the cheaper tablet look less detailed and offer less dynamic range. Their front-facing cameras are different too. You can take much better selfies with the 5-megapixel front shooter of the S Pen version than with the 2-megapixel webcam of the cheaper one. As their names suggest, both Galaxy Tab A 8.0 tablets feature an 8-inch screen with an aspect ratio of 16:10. But that's where the similarities end. The cheaper one has an HD resolution with 1280x100 pixels, while the pricier one has a full HD screen with 1920x1200 pixels. And you certainly can see a difference in sharpness, especially if you compare them side by side with each other. That's not the only difference. The screen of the SM-P200 with S Pen is a bit brighter, offers more contrast and more saturated colors. It just looks much better overall. It also is one of few 8-inch tablets to support an active pen. The S Pen is included at no extra charge and fits inside the bottom of the tablet. It looks, feels and works just like the S Pen stylus for the Galaxy Note smartphones do. The only major difference is that there's no Bluetooth built into the pen, so you can't use it as a remote for the camera or so. But besides that, it's the same S Pen we're used to from Samsung with a pressure sensitive tip and one button on its side. By the way, if you want, you can use every other S Pen with this tablet. That means if you prefer a thicker pen, you can get the one for the Galaxy Tab S4 or S6 and they will work fine. Now, in addition to the pen itself, there are tons of software features for the stylus pre-installed. You get the Samsung Notes app with both tablets, but the S Pen version also has the so-called air commands, which you can use to annotate screenshots, cut something out, or to start a new note everywhere and much more. Alright, let's check out the internal hardware. The pricier Galaxy Tab A SM-P200 ships with an Exynos 7885 octa-core chip that is supported by 3GB of RAM and a 32GB internal storage. With the cheaper SM-T290 on the other hand, we get a Qualcomm Snapdragon 429 quad-core chip with 2GB of RAM and a 32GB storage. There are huge differences when it comes to performance. You can see in my benchmark comparison that the version with S Pen is much faster. I mean, of course, it costs almost twice as much. The performance of both is fine for normal use, of course, but while you can do a good amount of multitasking with the S Pen version, with everything being super smooth most of the time, there sometimes is some lagging and stuttering with the cheaper one. Its 2GB RAM also mean that background apps must be reloaded more often once you switch to them. Don't get me wrong, surfing the web and watching YouTube is fine with both. But yes, even with just everyday normal use, I did notice that the S Pen version is snappier. Now, both are not amazing for gaming, but of course the performance difference also means that the cheaper one is not as great for demanding games. PUBG Mobile does run on both, for example, but while you can select HD graphics with the S Pen version, you've got to play it with balanced graphics on the SM-T290 only. That does not look as great, and I did notice some stuttering when fighting. Loading times are longer too. It's playable, but certainly much better on the SM-P200. Both 8-inch Galaxy Tab A tablets are running Android 9 Pie with Samsung's One UI in version 1.1. That means the software is pretty much identical. Sure, the S Pen version has those extra S Pen features, but that's pretty much it. With its One UI, Samsung is customizing Android very heavily, of course. Everything looks different, but the thing looks modern and I like the One UI. In the past, Samsung has been pretty good with updates. Usually, the Galaxy Tab A series has gotten at least 2 major updates. The 2017 8-inch Galaxy Tab A has just gotten Android 9, for example, so I hope they will continue this with both 2019 versions. While the Samsung Galaxy Tab A SM-T290 has a 5100 mAh battery, the S Pen version features a 4200 mAh battery. Now you would guess that the cheaper one has a much longer battery life because its battery is larger and its display has a lower resolution. And you would be right. In my standard battery test, the cheaper one lasted 13.5 hours, while the pricier one was empty after 9.5 hours. For this test, I'm always looping the same HD video at medium brightness. Well, that's the end of my comparison of the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8.0 2019 SM-T290 with the SM-P200 S Pen version. You've seen it, the pricier S Pen version is a better tablet, of course. It offers a better performance, a much better screen, and the S Pen stylus. Sadly, for whatever reason, Samsung decided to offer it in very few countries only, so most can get the cheaper one only, at least without importing it somehow. Now, the Galaxy Tab A 8.0 SM-T290 is much cheaper, so it's okay that its screen and performance are not as good. For its price, it is a decent tablet. It even has a longer battery life, and its performance is good enough for web surfing, YouTube, Netflix, and some sim-like games. I can imagine it to be a great tablet for kids, for instance. Alright, that's my comparison of the two 8-inch Samsung Galaxy Tab A 2019 tablets. If you have any questions, please feel free to write me down below and check out my full reviews of both tablets on this channel and on mynexttablet.com. I'm NJ, thanks for watching and see you next time.